Good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you're watching from. I hope you're well. I hope you've had a very lovely weekend. It is Monday, and I am here with you again to do some lovely jewellery making. So today I'm going to be doing some Ursula gemstone earrings with you. I've called them Ursula. Well, I was doing a little bit of reading up about a lady called Ursula Shipton, who was from a place called Knaresborough, and I just found it very fascinating and very interesting. So I popped her name down as a potential make, and then as I was making these, I thought, well, if I do, in fact, I'll hold one up for you. I thought if I was to do 8 little tassels off the bottom, then they could be a little bit like an octopus. And obviously there's a very famous, thanks to Disney, Little Mermaid. So I thought it was quite fitting. But we've got some gorgeous gemstones for you to choose from today. Your kits will make multiple pairs of earrings up. We've got some lovely seed beads. I'm using, I think, the size 11s, but I'll show you on the website shortly all of the materials that you will need to make these earrings. And if you want to buy a kit, you can get exactly what I'm using here. So we don't need many components. They are quite a straightforward make. Dolores has said, "Are you my very own Ursula?" Well, now you know why I've named them what I have. I'm a witch, I'm not a sea witch though. Jan says, "Good morning, Natalie and everybody from a bright and sunny Sudbury." Good morning to Rachel. Hello to Carol. Camille is back. Thank you for joining us. I hope you had a wonderful time. Good morning to Mina. Hello to Lisa. Good morning to Judith. She said, "Hello to everybody. The sun is shining in West Lothian this morning, but Catherine is in an overcast Glenrothes." Mina says, "Thank you, Natalie, as I've always wanted to try this." It's really straightforward. I am using a needle and thread, and I'm just going to be showing you step by step how to make these lovely earrings. Good morning to Trish. She says it's a bit chilly here. It is quite cold today, but it is beautiful and bright. It's a nice clear day. Hello, Lucy. How are you doing? So these are, they're a lovely, lovely earring to wear whatever the weather. They would look like this. I've done more of a full tassel on this one. I'll show you them down on the mat as well. If you've got any questions at all, I have linked my YouTube to this, so I will get notified of your comments and questions. So I'm going to take you over to the website now. We are totallybeads.co.uk, so you can see everything that we make, and you can make along with us if you wish to do so. So head over to the website if you want to see how you can get your kits. I say it is totallybeads.co.uk. So you see all of our lovely makes if you head into the video tutorial category here. And these are just some of the things I've been making with you over the last week, to be honest, because we are live 3 times a week: Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. I'm not going to be back with you until next Monday, but today we are doing the Ursula gemstone tassel earrings. So lovely little beaded tassels for you with lots of lovely gemstones. Now we haven't just got the gemstone in the rounds here. At the bottom of these lovely little tassels, we've also got gemstone, tiny little micro-faceted gemstones as well. So whatever you put on as your the method I'm going to show you, that second bead will be what dangles off the bottom. So we've got some lovely colours for you today. We've got 3 on the gold colourway and 3 on the silver as well. They do vary in price because obviously gemstones vary in price and cost, but they are all reasonable. We've got the Amazonite at £5.99, the blue aventurine at £6.99, as is the fluorite. The lapis is £5.99, the lepidolite is £9.99, and the rose quartz is £5.99. So they do vary in price, but if you head into the make itself in the different colour, you will see that this makes 3 pairs of earrings. So 3 pairs of gemstone earrings at that price, £5.99, is an absolute bargain. If you want to add a needle and thread in, you can do so for just £1.75. I'm using a little pony needle today. I've found while making them that the hole in the gemstone is a really good size to get that thread through multiple times. It is usually the needle that you will find you need a quite a fine needle personally, but I'll show you a technique how you can work around that if you haven't got one. I think I'm using a size 10 needle today. So we've got those gemstone rounds here, which are gorgeous. We've got the Toho size 11 seed beads, which are quite uniform in size. You're going to get your earring hooks in this colourway. So if you're getting the Amazonite, it's going to be gold. And you're also getting these rings as well. Now, these are closed rings. So a jump ring you can open and close. You can substitute and use an open and closable jump ring if you prefer. But I think the closed ring is best because there's no chance then of your thread slipping through. And you're going to get your gemstone faceted beads in this as well, which are 2mm, and they are the same. So for this colourway, these gemstones, which are Amazonite, and those at the bottom are also Amazonite. If you want to see exactly what sizes and things are in your kit, you can scroll down to the bottom here. So we're using the Amazonite round beads, which are 8mm, and the 2mm faceted gemstones in the Amazonite as well. And those gorgeous Toho size 11 seed beads are your trans, as in transparent, rainbow, frost, dark peridot. They're beautiful. They look a little turquoise here. Obviously each gemstone is different, so I'm just drawing out more of the kind of greeny blue colour, I suppose, on the Amazonite with this. Now, Amazonite, if you are interested in terms of properties, it's linked with good luck, fortune, and it's meant to be a very soothing gemstone. So it's linked with peace and truth and harmony and communication. It is linked with the heart chakra and the throat chakra. Anything that's blue colourway tends to be more of a throat chakra, and it's linked with Virgo as your zodiac. But I won't talk too much about the properties and things today because we do need to get making. We've got this gorgeous blue aventurine as well for you, but on this colourway, the little gems at the bottom, your micro-faceted moonstone. The picture is not doing the justice to these on the sparkle that you've got. They look quite a muted grey, but they are beautiful and they do look really, really gorgeous with the blue aventurine. They are £6.99 and it makes 3 pairs of earrings, and these are on the silver colourway. So you can see there, they're all the same kind of components that we're using in terms of gemstone size and seed bead, but these are the colours. I'm using a gorgeous capri blue on these. They're absolutely stunning. I think you can see the tones a little bit more in these colours here. So your blue aventurine, obviously, depending on the colour of the aventurine, depends on what chakra that it kind of links with, but it is third eye or throat chakra. It's linked with Aries and Leo, and it's meant to help with creativity, calmness, success, and because it's your throat chakra, communication too. Your moonstone is a stone of new beginnings, kind of transformation, and that's linked with happiness and abundance. It is your third eye and solar plexus chakra, and it's linked with Cancer, Libra and Scorpio. If you're interested in what zodiacs they link with, they are really, really gorgeous, really a lovely make, and it's very easy to get yourself symmetrical earrings, providing you use exactly the same amount in terms of your seed beads on those tassels, and you create the same amount of tassel kind of fringe sections to make them as full as you wish. They will be the same on each earring, so it's quite a nice make. Sometimes when making earrings we can struggle a little bit to get that kind of perfect match, and I'll show you different ways, not only You're just kind of attaching those little fringe sections, but also, you know, you don't have to have those fringe sections the same length. You could have them staggered if you want to. This is your fluorite, which is £6.99. Really, really gorgeous. Obviously, your fluorite changes in terms of colour as well. So if it was a kind of green bead you picked up, that would be your heart chakra. Your blue would be your throat. Your purple kind of colours in the fluorite would be your third eye. They are linked with Capricorn and Pisces, and it is meant to represent truth, intellect and protection. If anyone's ever studying for something, they've got an exam or whatever coming up and they're trying to revise, I always try and suggest or gift a little bit of fluorite to them. It's meant to be kind of like the thinker's stone, the learner's stone. So you can see I'm using the transparent rainbow green emerald Toho size 11 seed beads with that, and your gemstone round, which is 8mm, is fluorite, as is your 2mm faceted gemstone. I know I'm talking very fast. I'm trying to get an awful lot in, but that will show you the components and things that you're using. Everything will be in your kit apart from that needle and thread. So you're going to get enough of your closed rings, your ear wires, your gemstones, your seed beads to make those 3 pairs of earrings up. And those ones are £6.99. Now we've got the gorgeous lapis. Now, given the fact that this is £5.99 and it makes 3 pairs of lapis, I think is quite surprising, because as far as I understand, this lapis is not dyed. I'm pretty sure it's just a very high quality. So you are going to get that beautiful blue colour. It does have some kind of mottled, kind of greyish tones as well, but it is predominantly blue. You can always tell the difference between lapis and sodalite, because your lapis often has little gold speckles, so it's got more of a pyrite inclusion in that. These seed beads I don't think are showing quite as well. You can see here, I would say they're very much more in keeping with what the colour actually is. It's quite a true photograph. You've got the most gorgeous frosted kind of mottled blues and goldishy colours on them. They're really, really gorgeous. They look beautiful. It does say that's dyed lapis. I know they're quite high quality. When I'd spoken to Simon, he was a little bit reluctant for me to play around with these 8mm, and I told him you're only going to need 2 for a pair of earrings, because obviously we want to make sure that these are as cost effective for you as absolutely possible. You've got those gorgeous 2mm facets as well. So your lapis is obviously blue, so it's linked with that throat chakra and your third eye as well. Your zodiac is Taurus, Virgo, Libra and Sagittarius. With this, it's meant to represent inner truth, self-confidence, friendship and manifestation as well. So 3 pairs of earrings for £5.99. Bargain. Where are we up to? The Lepidolite. Okay, so this is another one which has got 2 gemstones on it. So I've got the Lepidolite there, which is like a beautiful kind of, it's kind of like a soft purple. So to bring that out, I've used these lovely seed beads, and at the bottom, you've got amethyst on there as well. Really, really gorgeous. And these are your size 11 Toho seed beads. So you can see what we've got in there for you. I'm scrolling up and I'm scrolling down. Hopefully you can't hear too much background noise going on at the moment. My next door does have the builders in, so I do apologise if you can. Now these are a little bit more expensive. They are £9.99, but they are absolutely beautiful gemstones. You've got your third eye and your crown chakra in this. And that is for both of those gemstones, the Lepidolite and the amethyst. The Lepidolite represents transition, awareness, goodness, good for meditation. Your amethyst is, of course, your inner peace and healing. It's meant to relieve stress. It's meant to relax everything from your kind of mind, body and soul. Also, amethyst is your February birthstone, but it's linked with all sorts of different. Your Lepidolite is linked with Libra, But the amethyst is linked with Virgo, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces zodiacs. So lots of lovely properties in there. I do still think for £9.99 for 3 pairs of earrings with 2 gemstones is a really gorgeous, gorgeous price for you today. You've got a lovely smooth round on those 8mm, but these little 2mm are faceted, so they absolutely sparkle and catch the light, and they'll twinkle beautifully off the bottom of those earrings for you. And lastly, but by no means least, is of course your rose quartz. These are on the gold. If you wanted to multi-buy, you could always swap if you've got 2 kits. So say for example you've got the Lepidolite and you've got the rose quartz kit, you could choose what colour earring hook and closed ring you wanted to use with that, whether it was the gold or the silver. All our earring hooks are nickel free. But they would also look lovely as a mix. So if you wanted to mix the seed beads and include more of the kind of purpley ones, or you wanted to add some of the amethyst drops on the bottom of these, you absolutely could. Rose quartz is your heart chakra. It's linked with Taurus and Libra. This is not the right photograph. That is not the colour of your seed beads. So I will show you them down on the mat. Your seed beads are a beautiful pink colour that very much looks like an orange. But your rose quartz, which you've got there, is of course the ultimate love stone. So it's linked with love in every shape and form, whether that be platonic or romantic love, and a self-love and kindness as well. They are £5.99 and they make 3 pairs of earrings. So I'm using those 8mm gemstone rounds, 2mm faceted gemstones, and your size 11 Toho seed beads. So that's everything that is in your kits today. They're all the gorgeous colours that you can choose from. I'm going to take you back down in a second on the mat, and I will show you what they look like so you can see how they are, and you can see those rose quartz are not with an orange seed bead. I will check with Simon that we make sure that everything's perfect in your kits today. So I've got lots of you in at the moment. Thank you so much for joining me. Elena saying good morning. Anna says Pauline. Lucy's trying to get a beading mojo back. Camille's had a wonderful holiday. Good morning to Amelia. Lucy saying that her holiday looked lovely. Good morning to Joanne. She says, good morning, everyone. I can enjoy today without being distracted as she's got no granddaughter today. The earrings look really nice, and she's done something similar when she was at school. So that wasn't that long ago then, was it, Joanne? Lucy saying the Facebook Live's just gone off. I apologise for that. It is showing that we are live on Facebook on Kitty Robinson Designs and also our Totally Beads page. We are on Totally Beads on YouTube, and I've connected my YouTube to this as well. And that way, hopefully, I'll get notifications of any comments or questions. So it saves me going back into past videos and maybe responding like a couple of months later than you've written that comment. So I want to make sure that we're offering brilliant customer service to you. So I've added mine in there as well. So it's just Natalie Patton jewelry, I think it's called. Elizabeth saying, yeah, Facebook's gone off again. I do apologise about that. I don't know what's gone on. Hopefully you'll all find us here okay. Good morning to Kath. Camille's having issues as well, as is Pauline. Come and find us on YouTube if you can. Camille saying the pink is lovely. And hello to Brenda, who's watching from North Carolina. Thank you so much for joining me. Okay, let me take you down on the mat and I will show you how these work and how we can get making. So you can see here, I've got these gorgeous Amazonite. They are absolutely beautiful. To get a little bit of focus, that's a bit better. So hopefully you can see these gorgeous colour of the seed beads. Now I've put these faceted gemstones at the bottom, so the thread that I've picked is a similar colour. If at all you don't want any thread at all on the bottom of those gemstones, you can add another seed bead underneath them instead. But I think they just make a nice little kind of finish to those tassels. And again, you can add as many tassels as you want to make a fuller look if need be. I'll move my hands down a little bit, that might make it a little better to focus. This one here is your blue aventurine. So you can see it's got a lovely blue tone to it. I've got these gorgeous size 11 seed beads, and at the bottom is the most twinkly, gorgeous, delicate little moonstones. Really, really gorgeous. They're a nice, comfortable, lightweight wear as well. They sit nice in your ear. We've got this lovely, nice flattened part of the ear hook. So it's just, they're all very pretty, lovely components. I love this. This is your fluorite. Of course, your colours are going to change. So you can see here I've got some purple coloured ones. This is more of a blue. So you might just want to kind of look at the main 8mm beads that you've got in your kit. Of course, it's making 3 pairs of earrings, so the chances are you're going to have, 2 in a similar tone and colour in your beads, but I don't think it really matters if you've got one kind of bluishy coloured one and one purple one. I think that's just lovely. These seed beads here pick up all of the colour and the tone that you're going to get in any of those beautiful fluorite beads. Good morning, Yolanda. I hope you're well. Thank you for joining me. These are your lapis. Absolutely gorgeous. Really, really beautiful. And you've got those lovely little lapis at the bottom. Again, I think those seed beads look particularly beautiful together. These ones are what I'm going to demo for you today, which is your Lepidolite. So you can see it's kind of got like a mottled purple kind of pinkishy tone to it. Gorgeous seed beads, and then accentuated at the bottom with those lovely little amethyst. And then your rose quartz. So you can see here, these are the colour of your seed beads. You've got a beautiful kind of rainbowy pink, baby pink tone to them. And they are really straightforward to do. So to get making, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an arm span of my thread. I have put my needle on already because it's a thin needle, and if it comes out, we might have trouble getting it back in on alive. So I'm going to take a generous arm span. Probably need about 1 metre. I don't like working with too much more than that because I often find I get a little bit tangled up. So I'm just gonna, you can keep it on your bobbin if you want to, on your reel. I'm just gonna trim it off for now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna attach my needle on. I've got an arm span of my thread, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a seed bead, and then I'm gonna add my first beautiful faceted micro crystal. These are 2mm. So because they're so sparkly and twinkly, it will take me a little while to find the hole to go through. Camille said I was looking forward to you threading the needle. You've missed me, Camille, because I have been doing while you've been away. But yeah, today I thought, well, maybe not. So what's going to happen is whatever you put on second is going to be your last kind of dangle on those earrings. So if you wanted a seed bead to dangle off, you could pop this the other way round. But I like having that micro faceted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 1 seed bead and 1 2mm faceted gem, and I'm going to leave myself a little tail end. Doesn't have to be too much, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to work this thread back up into the earring later. So for now, I'm just going to miss out that 2mm gemstone, and I'm going to go back up the seed bead. And I'm going to pull my thread all the way. So this is going to act as my little stopper. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tie a little knot. You won't see this knot, it will just go into the seed beads. So I'm just going to do a little kind of overhand knot, and I'll probably knot that twice. If you really wanted to, you could add a dab of glue to that, but I've not found I've needed it. So I've just got my little tail end there, which I'm going to bring up through my needle later. I'm going to add into my tassel. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add on another 19 seed beads. Now you can add whatever you want in terms of length and size. As I say, you don't have to have them all the same length. If you don't want to, you can stagger them. But what I find is because I've already added that one on, I'm going to add 20 onto each of my little kind of fringes. But because I've already added that one on there, I only need to add 19. So I'm going to take my seed beads, pick them up, and then I'm also going to bring that down there. So this is going to be my first little part of the fringe. Don't worry if it staggers a little bit. As I say, when I bring this thread up through that tassel later, that's just going to fix it nice and straight. So once I've got my seed beads on, I'm going to take my gemstone. So I'm going to go up through the hole in the 8mm, and then I'm going to add my closed ring. So I'm going to take my needle through the closed ring, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come through the other side of the ring, so it's going right through the middle, and I'm going to bring that right down back through the hole in the gemstone, and I'm going to give it a little pull so it's nice and taut, so my seed beads are sitting right underneath that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up another 20. So you might hear me count. Camille, I'm glad you're back for this because I know you like to count along with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 and 20. So what I tried to do is I tried to put little piles of 20 seed beads out because I wasn't sure whether Camille would be back with us today, and I wanted to make sure she was counting along with me. So I've now added my 20 on. If you don't want to count them, you can just line them up against each other and see if they're there or they're about the same size. Once I've got the length that I want, I'm going to add on my gorgeous little faceted 2mm gemstone. In this case, I've got the gorgeous amethyst. There you go, she's counting along with me now. I'm going to add that on, and then of course I'm going to miss the amethyst out, and I'm going to run back all the way through every single one of those seed beads. I can as well take it right up the hole in the gemstone. Just going to give that a little pull along. If I find it starting to loop like this, I'm just going to pull that down because I want my seed beads to sit nice and close. Sometimes put my finger on it, and then what that will do is it will bring that thread up from the bottom. So I've gone through the hole in the gemstone, I'm going through the closed ring. Oh, I've managed to get my thread wrapped all around my tools. Don't need any tools really for this, just scissors to cut off, maybe pliers right at the very end just to open up my e-ring hook. So I'm using that closed ring, and that way if I've got a jump ring that opens, I need to make sure that my thread doesn't fall through it, so I'd have to make sure that that ring is fully closed. This is a closed ring, so all I need to do is just open up the e-ring hook at the end. So once I've gone through the middle of the ring, I'm going back through the gemstones and making sure it comes out the other side, and then I'm bringing that thread all the way through, making sure it's all nice and taut so my seed beads are close to the gemstone. And then I'm just going to pick up my next lot of seed beads. So as I'm making them the same length, I'm going to add 20. Mina is asking, how many tassels do you add, please? That's entirely up to you, Mina, what you want to do. I've used 8 or 10. 8 if you want it to be a little bit more symbolic of an octopus. But it just depends how full you want to make that tassel. You can do as many as you want. You'll have enough of everything in your kit to do at least 10 tassels on each earring. So again, I've added all of my seed beads. If I've not counted them, I'm just going to lie it against the next one just to check that they're round about the same length, unless I want to stagger them. I'm going to add on my lovely microfaceted crystal. I'm then going to go back up all of the seed beads and just miss out that gemstone at the end, working all the way through right to the top. Again, you can position your seed beads, pop your finger on it if need be, just to make sure that that is nice and close. And then taking it through the hole in the gemstone. So it comes out the top of the gemstone. Give it a little pull to make sure it's nice and taut. I'm going to go through the closed ring and back out through the gemstone. Now, when I'm coming out through this gemstone, I'm not going to go back through any of those seed beads on any of the other tassel fringes. I'm just going to come back out so I can add my next one. If I find, and as I say, it's more likely to be the size of your needle than it will be the thread. You can get the thread back through this. I mean, I've run it up and down, as I say, 10 times on some of them, so that's not the issue, but it might be the size of your needle. If you are finding it's difficult to come back up and down through the gemstone, what you can do is you can go through the first one, the first little size 11 Toho on one of your fringes, and then come out from there if need be. So that is one way around it if you are kind of struggling with that. So again, just picking up my next lot of seed beads. I'm sitting right next to the radiator and I'm getting a little warm because it was so cold this morning. I put my jumper on, got my top underneath, and then with all the lamps and stuff, I'm getting hot hands. But I am still managing to pick these seed beads up. I know they are off camera at the moment. If I move them though, I'm going to move my pile. I've only done a couple, so you're going to have to watch me count in a little while. Can you use a big eye needle? I guess you can, Pauline, yeah, but to be honest, the only reason I'll struggle with the size of the needle on a big eye needle is these are 2mm, these little gemstones at the bottom that I'm putting on now. So the only time I was using a slightly larger needle, and for a lot of them it was absolutely fine. But every now and again I'd come up to this gorgeous little microfaceted crystal. I can't even see the hole in it because it's so tiny. So the only thing, I just found it and I've lost it. There it is. What you're going to need to do is, because this is only 2mm, that hole is going to be obviously smaller than that. So you've got to make sure that the gemstone fits over your the eye of the needle. But you could try it, it might work. So then I've added on my seed beads, and that is all I'm doing. I'm just going to repeat this process until I've got the amount of tassels that I want and how full I want it. So I'm missing out the gemstone. I'm working my way back all the way through every one of those size 11 seed beads. Don't want to miss one out because it will sit a little bit wonky. So I've got all of my seed beads on. I'm going to pull that gently up. Before I do, just going to position my seed beads up close to the gemstone. Maybe place my finger or my thumb gently on top of that. So as I pull that thread, it's bringing that little 2mm gemstone right to the bottom and making sure my seed beads sit directly underneath the larger 8mm. Back through the hole in my kind of feature bead. Got this a little tangle, so I'm just going to move that little tassel out the way. There we go. Gentle pull to make sure it's fairly taut. Through the hole in the closed ring and back down. Hello Facebook user, how are you doing? Thank you for joining me. They say they're going to watch back later. You most certainly can. It will be on our channels afterwards, so you can watch us back on the Totally Beads website. If you click into what the kit is, it'll show you the demonstration at the top of that link. You can find us on YouTube if it on Facebook if it decides to work. We're also on YouTube, and I've also added my YouTube channel so I can answer any questions that you might have. So I'm adding in again. If I've not counted them, I can just lay it close by and see it's there or thereabouts, and then picking up my lovely 2mm gemstone and then back up. So it is quite a repetitive make. It's a nice easy make. Again, if you're somebody who doesn't really like stitching, then this is a nice kind of beginner make. And I'm making earrings with this, but you don't have to. Of course, if you wanted, you could do these would make beautiful pendants. They would make lovely little key rings. It's just a nice way to make a little tassel. So back through the gemstone, back through the loop, coming out and just pushing anything to the side just to make sure that I'm not going to come back through any of those existing tassels and seed beads, so I can start a new one. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. You could do 8, you could do 10, you could do whatever you wanted. I'm just going to pour some more seed beads out onto my table. And then I'm going to pick up another 20. Ah. 8, 9, 10. I can't talk and count at the same time. So if I go quiet, you know why. 3, 4 is 15. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Gonna lay that against the last one. Check it's round about the same size. Add on my crystal. So there's lots of ways to make tassels. You don't have to do beaded tassels. A lot of the time you can make kind of like a fringe type tassel. But I think doing a little seed bead tassel is a lovely way to kind of make a feature on maybe a necklace or something. And I think this is just quite an easy way to do it. So bringing that thread back, just making sure that thread doesn't catch in the way. And you can see here, using the colour of thread I'm using, you can barely see it on that gemstone at the end. But it does just slightly come back through it just to act as that little stopper. back up through the gemstone bead. And I do that nice and slowly, really, just to make sure it's not catching on anything. Through the loop in the closed ring and back down. You will find the more tassels that you add on, obviously the more space gets filled underneath that gemstone. So I just tend to kind of turn them a little bit out the way, just so you know, I'm not running back through them. Good morning, Facebook user. I hope you're well. Camille's singing at me. She's singing Under the Sea in an octopus's garden. You made me lose count. I think that was 10. We'll just go with 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So just picking up those seed beads with the end of my needle. You could pick them up on your finger if you think it helps. I do find, though, that laying the microcrystals down on the table makes it a little bit easier to kind of pick up if I pick it up straight off my mat, rather than it rolling around me trying to find that little hole. Missing out the tiny gemstone on the bottom, running back up all the way through all of those seed beads. The good thing is about this size needle is it's long enough, and the amount of seed beads I've put on, that I can run up all the way in one go. But of course, if you need to come out and then go back through, that's not a problem. Going through the seed bead, through the gemstone. I have just caught that little tassel, so I'm just going to bring that thread, I'm just pulling on that thread gently just to open it up, and then I'm going to bring that through and out of the way. There we go. So does anybody have a favourite gemstone? Is this, have you used, for example, the Lepidolite before? Is there any here that you've not made any jewellery with and you think, I'd like to add them to my collection? Obviously, if you are selling your makes, you know, make sure you're advertising the fact that you are using gemstones, because I think that they're very popular, and it just adds that bit of value to your work. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll do a couple more because I appreciate this is repetitive. And when I'm quiet, you can probably hear the drilling next door. Okay, so add on the amount that I want for my tassels. You can make them much longer if you prefer. think I've got about 8 on this now, so I may leave it as that. We're missing that gemstone and running up them all. So I'm moving this one out to the side just to make it easy for myself. Bringing them seed beads up close, give it a little pull. Back through the hole. It is a generous size hole. You might just need to move your ring slightly, the closed ring, just to get that needle up. Which one was it coming out of? Just so I don't catch it. Back through the ring. And back down again. Yeah, Jen, you could use the micro crystals. I'm just using the size 11 seed beads and the 2mm faceted gemstones, which I have been referring to as micro crystals because they are teeny tiny. Just trying to get my needle through so I'm not catching any other seed beads. But as I say, if you find that you are struggling a little bit, then what I would do is I'd just go through one on one of those fringe sections. I'd then add on 19 of my seed beads and come back up that way and then work into the next one. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'll leave it as 8. So to tie off, what I'm going to do is I come back down through the gemstone, and then I'm just going to make myself a little loop. So I'm kind of wrapping it around the top of the gemstone and I'm bringing my needle back through, and then I'm just going to pull it tight, and I'm going to do that a couple of times. So I tend to put my thumb, I hold my tassel bits between my finger and my thumb, and then I can make that kind of loop with the thread around my thumb, just so then I can bring that thread back through, like so. And that's gonna tie a little knot around it. Let's do that again. So I'm making a little loop around the top of the bottom of the gemstone and the top of all the seed beads, and bringing my needle through it. You can see, and I'm just going to do that about 3 times. So wrap the thread around and bring my needle through. As I pull that will make a loop around the gemstone and at the top of the seed beads, but you won't be able to see where I've tied it off. Again, if you want to add a little bit of glue to that, you could do, but again, I've found I've not needed it. So I'm just making a little loop around the gemstone bead at the top, and I want that when I pull it in to just sit above those seed beads. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my little tassels, I'll come out this one I think, and I'm going to take my needle, I'm just going to give it a little position so I can get my needle back through. We'll go through this one. And I'm just going to run my needle back through some of those seed beads just to take it away from the knot at the top. And then I can take my scissors or my cutters and give that a little trim. And now Camille was asking if she could watch me thread a needle. And this is going to be fun, because what I want to do is if you've left a little tail end at the beginning, I'm going to have to move it out of shot and put it under my face because I'm so warm. Am I going to get that through? I mean, I'm not going through the microfaceted little crystal now, so technically I could use a different size needle. Manage to get that to thread. But what I would then do is I would take that little tail end and I would just bring it back through the seed bead. So this was where I started, and I tied a couple of knots. And then if I take that back through some of those seed beads, you will see now that little tassel sits nice and straight, and I can trim that off. And then there is my little tassel earring, all finished and all lovely. All I will need to do now is attach my earring hook. So with the Lepidolite and the amethyst gemstone earrings in your kit, you're going to get that silver closed ring, but you're also going to get your silver ear wire as well. And because I've got the closed ring, I can't open that ring up. I have to open the ear wire loop. So I'm just going to give it a little turn towards me, slide that on, and then with my pliers, I'm going to close that back up. And there you have my lovely gemstone tassel Ursula earrings. Now, if I was to make my second earring, which I would be doing, I'd be using the same amount of tassels. This one's got 10 on, so you can see there is a slight difference in how they look in terms of that fullness. So I would just make sure that I'm using the same amount of tassels, and then I will have a matching pair. Camille says, I find I'm having a lot of trouble now threading the S-Lon with the 11 needles. Sigh, old eyes. Yeah, I tend to find if I'm being watched, if I'm on a live and I'm under the light, I usually struggle. But the beading gods are with me today, and I managed to do that okay. Jan says, very cute mate today. Thank you, Natalie. You are welcome. So, of course, you've got lots to choose from today. We've got the gorgeous Amazonite. We've got the blue aventurine with the twinkly moonstone on them. They're in the silver as well. We've got the fluorite, which are very, very, very lovely. Just love the difference. Obviously, as I say, every gemstone is unique and different. So no two will be exactly the same. So even if you are making, these and you're repeating exactly the same process, each thing you make is going to be slightly unique and different, which again is also a lovely selling point if you sell or gift your jewellery. We've got the lapis, which is on the silver, so that's lapis lazuli. And the lepidolite is what I've just demoed. That comes with the amethyst at the bottom. And then we've got the gorgeous rose quartz as well. Camille says, nice to be able to watch you again. And with all my beaders, I've missed it. Linda says, very pretty make. Rachel says, lovely make. Jan says, very cute, thank you. Facebook user says, tip, when trying to thread a needle, cut the thread at an angle and it will fit. Yeah, that's a good tip. What I would say is don't do what I've done and don't use your cutters, because if you're using threads on your cutters and you're cutting things other than wire with your cutters, you are going to end up blunting your cutters. These scissors are rubbish. I don't know why I have them next to me because they never cut straight. But yeah, if you've ever got any cord or thread what Facebook user was saying there is, rather than cut it straight across, if you cut it at an angle, it gives it kind of more of a kind of thinner needle tip finish, which is often easier to get through the eye of your needle. These are what I was using today. They are also available on the Totally Beads website if you wanted to use exactly the same as what I've done there. Oh, it's Esther who's Facebook user. Hello, my lovely. It doesn't come up with your name. I've got Tracy saying, lovely make, Natalie. Beaded along, so I've got to make the second earring. Oh, thanks, Tracy. Did you put 8 tassels in as well, or were you quicker than me? And Camille says, cute make. Have a lovely day, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am going to be back with you on Monday. I'm going to be doing some very easy bead stringing, but we've got some lovely, lovely bits and bobs that's going to be in those gorgeous necklaces. So if you can join me then, please do. Tracy made 8 tassels. Joanne says, lovely make. Thank you, Natalie. Lovely gems too. Have a great weekend all. Well, I second that sentiment, Joanne. I hope you all have a lovely, lovely week, and I will see you next Monday. Take care, everyone. Bye.